The third and most important development in Hellenistic philosophy is called Stoicism. And Stoicism is probably the greatest and most interesting achievement of the Hellenistic philosophers. And while it never achieves the poetic and intellectual grandeur of the Socratic synthesis, of the Platonic overarching system which makes statements about the entire human condition, Stoicism is, in fact, a noble philosophy.
A recent article on Forbes discussed the relevance of practicing Stoicism in today's world. The main idea was that Stoic philosophy is deeply connected to the time in which it developed, spanning almost 500 years from Zeno's teachings to the era of Marcus Aurelius. To truly understand Stoicism, let's look closer at its core. Take Chrysippus, for example. He was such a dedicated Stoic that he eventually led the Stoic school in Athens. Contrary to the popular belief of him being a strict figure, this isn't an accurate portrayal. Chrysippus was immensely popular and was said to have died laughing at a donkey eating some figs. But it's not just Chrysippus. Seneca openly grieved the loss of his friends. Marcus Aurelius often felt lonely, and Epictetus encouraged everyone to enjoy the great festival of life, things that modern Stoicism would absolutely discourage. The problem with Stoicism is that it's often only partially understood. The word Stoic has been misused as a synonym for emotionless, leading it to unfairly lose its shine as an ancient philosophy. Many people assume Stoicism is about repressing or denying feelings, to treat the world rationally and objectively. This is a distortion of a complex school of thought, and new research suggests this misunderstanding is harming our well-being. An intriguing perspective comes from the article, which among other things writes, Stoicism is more than just a set of beliefs or practices. It's an ideology rooted in a specific time and place. While classical Stoics taught that virtue is the only good, modern Stoicism, also known as the New Stoicism, seems more focused on using ancient teachings to enhance their effectiveness as social media brand managers. This raises important questions. Can we truly be Stoics in the 21st century? And what does it really mean to be a practicing modern Stoic?
Very fine scholar. He said you should study Stoicism because it is the most neglected of all the ancient schools of philosophy.
Many of us turn to Stoicism during difficult times, such as losing a job, enduring a tough breakup, or facing a serious illness. We often hear that it is a practical philosophy offering battle-tested methods, practices, and exercises that reduce anxiety and depression, increase happiness, and help us lead more fulfilling lives despite the challenges we face. However, in 2022, an international team of philosophers, scientists, and psychologists released a paper titled Misunderstood Stoicism. This paper revealed a concerning trend. The more people practiced Stoicism, the unhappier they were. A philosophy intended to boost well-being was, paradoxically, decreasing it. It's crucial to understand that this isn't Stoicism as it's meant to be practiced. The team referred to this as naive Stoic ideology. This naive version is what someone with only a superficial understanding of Stoicism might believe. It's the half-read, half-understood Stoicism of those unfamiliar with Epictetus or Seneca. The paper defined naive Stoic ideology by 4 assumptions. Stoic taciturnity, believing that emotions should not be discussed, leading practitioners to think they must always be brooding and silent. Stoic serenity, the idea that we should not feel strong emotions, making practitioners believe that laughing, crying, or getting angry disqualifies them from being Stoics. Stoic endurance, the belief in enduring physical suffering, with some taking this to an extreme, actually pursuing pain in their lives. Misunderstood memento mori, accepting rather than fearing death, often misinterpreted as a simplistic reminder of mortality.
Everybody wants to be happier. I mean, not everybody acts like they do, but everybody wants to be happier, deep in their souls, I do believe. But most people don't know how to define it. I ask my students at the university, what is happiness? And many of them will say, well, it's the feeling that you get when ... As a matter of fact, they all talk about feelings at the very beginning, and I say, no. That's not the true definition of happiness. It's so much more than that. If I ask...
The research team explored how naive Stoic ideology affects two kinds of well-being, hedonic and eudaimonic. Hedonic well-being involves personal satisfaction and happiness, whereas eudaimonic well-being relates to flourishing and finding deeper meaning in life. Their findings revealed that Stoic ideology was negatively related to both hedonic well-being and eudaimonic well-being. This means that naive Stoicism actually decreases happiness on both a superficial level and a deeper existential level. The paper notes the tendency and desire to suppress one's problems, both in experience and expression, is related to lower well-being. Essentially, the more you try to ignore or avoid discussing your feelings, the more harmful it is to your mental health.
What is Stoicism about? Well, the first thing is, it's based on a crucial premise that we should live our life according to nature. Now,
This is where things get interesting. The commonly held view of Stoicism as a set of techniques for handling challenges is popular, but it's only part of the picture. Achieving inner peace and other benefits should be seen as secondary to Stoicism's main goal, to live in harmony with nature and embody the principle that virtue is the highest good. We gain these benefits as a result of embracing Stoic goals. Virtue is both the starting point and the end goal. Becoming more centered and composed is the result of practicing virtues, working daily to become a better person, and learning to face life's challenges with calmness and a degree of detachment.
Are you afraid of death because you won't be able to play video games anymore? Because you won't be able to watch pornography on your computer? Because you won't be able to argue with people you don't know on the internet? Because you won't be able to sit on your couch and get drunk or high? These are not reasons to be afraid of death. You shouldn't be afraid of death at all, he's saying. But what you definitely shouldn't do is be afraid of death, and then when you have life, sit here and waste it on things that don't matter.
Interestingly, both death acceptance and Stoic endurance were positively associated with eudaimonic well-being. This means that those who come to terms with their own mortality tend to be happier on a deeper, more meaningful level. Similarly, if you view suffering as an inevitable but manageable part of life, you're more likely to experience greater overall well-being. These aspects, death acceptance and Stoic endurance, align closely with ancient Stoicism. This perspective is similar to acceptance and commitment therapy, where the aim isn't to eliminate symptoms, but to live a good, meaningful life despite them. With Stoicism, the goal is to live virtuously. While this may bring various benefits, it doesn't guarantee an easy life. In fact, living virtuously might introduce more challenges, as standing up for something, defending others, or pursuing a difficult but worthwhile goal often does. The Stoic life can involve inner peace but also external struggle. Stoicism is a very practical philosophy in that it doesn't promise to free us from difficulties, but teaches us to live well despite them. In conclusion, I firmly believe that Stoicism can be practiced today. The core virtues remain unchanged, though many of us have forgotten them. Stoicism can help us rediscover these values. However, it's crucial to always return to the roots of this philosophy, living according to nature and practicing virtues. The answers to our most significant questions can be found by reflecting on these fundamental concepts. At times, reading too much about Stoicism can be counterproductive. This philosophy requires us to take personal responsibility and adapt its principles to our lives, careers, and challenges. So, rather than getting lost in endless reading, it's essential to start practicing these virtues in our daily lives. Perhaps the most important lesson is to avoid trusting half-baked pop philosophy. If you are going to commit to a philosophy and live by its ideals, you must take the time to truly understand it. Learning about Stoicism in depth ensures that you are not merely adopting a superficial version, but embracing its true essence. So stop reading and start practicing some virtues. Live the philosophy, embody its principles, and let it guide you to a more meaningful and fulfilling life. Thank you for watching. If you found this video insightful, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us create more content like this. See you in the next video.